Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Sibling Rivalry. I am one of your co-hosts, Alex, and sitting next to me today, I have our other co-host and my little brother, Taylor.
Hey, it's me.
How are you doing today, Taylor?
I'm doing good.
Happy to hear that. Are you having a wonderful... Let's see, what day is it? Well, now
Thursday.
It was Thursday. Well, it's still Thursday. It'll only be Thursday for 10 more minutes.
12
more minutes. Okay, anyway.
Good start. This is a good professional, well thought out beginning to the podcast.
Yes, for sure. So welcome so much to our second episode. This week is going to be the first week that we actually have a topic to talk about. And we thought that we would pick a topic that is near and dear to our hearts. Something that honestly has kind of built who we are as people.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse, which sounds really like deep and thoughtful, but it's actually just the fact that we binge video games our entire childhood.
I'm sure you guys can relate.
Yeah. So basically our topic today is growing up gaming. Part 1, because we started gathering things for this episode and we're like, oh my god, like this is way too much.
Yeah, we realized like, we've literally played like hundreds of games over our childhood. Like it's a lot.
Right. So today's episode, we're going to talk about the systems that we played in the 90s up to the year 1999. So we're cutting it off at the year 2000. We're going to have another episode where we'll be talking about 2000 onward of all the games that we played. So to kind of give you guys a frame of reference of what this means for us age-wise, I was born in 1990 and...
I was born in 1992 and she's a year and a half older than me.
Yeah. So now that everyone knows how old we are.
Yeah. We're going to get like DDoS. They're going to like find out where we live. And,
right.
steal our identities.
Yep.
We live in Michigan and my social security number is...
Yeah. Probably not a good idea to share that.
Maybe. Good. Thank you.
So yeah, we played these games from ages 0 to 8-10. Basically. Which I can't believe we are actually playing video games that young.
That seems... When you're older, that seems like a really young age.
I know, right? It is really weird. So, but we weren't kidding. Like, I cannot remember a time in my life when I wasn't playing video games.
I can.
You can?
I mean, I have, like, one memory of being, like, super young, like, falling downstairs because I was, like, just traumatized and I was a little, like, baby. I'm pretty sure I wasn't playing video games then.
I remember that, but I don't remember being there. I remember Mom freaking out about it.
Yeah. That explains why I'm so messed up in the head.
It must be, yep. So what we did was we broke down each section by the system, basically. And keep in mind that we didn't, unfortunately, own every system. So apologies to people that had a Sega Genesis or Dreamcast, an Atari, or a Super Nintendo.
I do remember, like... I think it was like a dentist's office. They had a Sega there. And like every time I would go, I would just like play the shit out of like Sonic.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only time I played Dreamcast was when I was at a friend's house and all we played was Sonic.
That game was dope.
It was dope.
But I barely played it, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we won't be talking about those, but feel free to share your experiences playing those games because I'm sure they were great systems. All I have to relate to those is Sonic, unfortunately. So here's how the breakdown is going to go. So we're going to play the loading music for each system if it has it, which I thought would be fun because that's definitely super nostalgic.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, definitely nostalgic. Every time you hear it, you're like, oh my god, like, Jesus Christ.
I want to be a little kid again.
Yep. I pulled kind of like release info from each system so we can get our dates in order. And then I also kind of pulled some of the popular games from each system so everyone can kind of get an idea of maybe what came out on those. I have a fun fact for each system or game that's on the system. And then Taylor and I are going to talk about our favorite games, experiences with that system, and basically our opinions, whatnot. So we'll see where it goes. We have this somewhat planned, but somewhat not.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna wing it. Let's do this.
Well, Taylor's winging it. I have 4 pages.
She did her research.
I did 4 pages worth of research.
And I'm like, I just didn't do anything. Let's do a podcast.
I'm really serious about video games.
Yeah. It's very serious business.
It is super serious. I did want to say that as I did my research, I realized...
Research.
As I did my research, it really made me feel super old.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like when you realize that like things that you really like came out like 10 or like 15 years ago or something, or even like more.
I was like, oh shit, these games literally came out 20 years ago.
God.
Like, oh my god. So anyway, let's hop right in.
Yeah.
So the first system that we're going to be talking about today is DOS, which is short for Disk Operating System. It is an acronym for several computer operating systems that were operated by using that command line. Microsoft DOS dominated the PC market between 1981 to 1995.
Basically, it was Windows Alpha. It was Windows 95 Alpha, basically.
Pretty much. But for those who never have experienced a DOS computer, basically, you turned it on.
Picture like a text-based adventure game and like Windows and like they had a baby.
Right. So you turned it on. It was a black screen with white text.
Yeah.
And you literally had to type in a command for what you wanted to do.
Yeah, like run a program, open.
Yeah. There were no such things as icons.
Yeah.
And I remember our dad, who obviously had the DOS computer, could only download one game at a time because that's all it had memory for.
Yeah, like 32 megabytes of like memory or something. Probably even less than that.
Right. So if you wanted to play a game, you literally had to uninstall the previous game and reinstall the new game that you wanted to play.
Yeah, gaming was hardcore back then.
It really was. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, all of our gaming comes from our dad. He pretty much started this on it, and I give him credit for...
He was very dedicated.
He was very dedicated
Yeah.
to his video games. So just to kind of... I listed a bunch of, like, I guess games that kind of came out for DOS originally, and some of these I feel like might surprise people. It was on the computer first, like Tetris, for example. Duke Nukem came out in 1996. Leisure Suit Larry, 1987.
Oh, yeah.
Donkey Kong, 1981. Raymond was the first on DOS.
What? Oh, that, yeah, like a platformer, like Raymond.
Yeah. Quake, one of my personal favorites. GTA, 1997.
That was like the top-down version, right?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Yeah.
Doom, Tomb Raider, Lemmings, Day of the Tentacle, and Sam & Max Hit the Road. Those are some of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
The fun fact I have about DOS is, and this was actually super cool because I'm playing Fallout right now, which is a open world game.
I'm pretty sure most of our viewers know who Fallout is.
No.
Our listener, I said viewers. You're not watching.
I hope you're not watching us. I'm going to look out the window. There'll be like people staring inside.
Yeah.
So the biggest map on any video game belongs to Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall for DOS. It is 62,394 square miles.
Wow.
And that is over 4,000 times larger than any map in Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
I mean, to be fair, the map is probably like just like pixels though, so it's a lot easier to have big maps, right?
Probably.
I've never played the game, but nowadays I have a map the size of like a giant detailed like map with like 1080p textures. Now, back then it was just like a giant like mile long like pixel train.
It was probably 62,000 square miles of like grass.
Yeah, just like empty, like literally they just like had like a dump bucket of like green. They just like dumped green. It's like, yeah, we broke a record.
Like, how big can we make this map?
An occasional like brown square every now and then for like a rock.
Right, but think about like how big 62,000 square miles is.
That's big. It's very big.
Like, can you imagine finding the edge of that map? Like, does it just
No.
drop off into blackness? I don't know. One of the really big parts about DOS games is that's really when like point and click adventures
Oh yeah.
started. So basically, like, you would walk in and you would have a prompt and you'd have to pick what option you wanted.
Yeah.
And then it would take you through the game.
Yeah, so you have like an inventory and like you can just like hover over to like things to interact with and like either like push, pull, pick up, you know, stuff like that. And just like, I mean, there are point and click puzzle games nowadays that people make, but that's where it started.
Right. Taylor, what do you think is your favorite? I don't want to say point and click, but kind of like more story-based, like puzzle. You know what I'm talking about. Like, what kind of DOS game like that was your favorite?
I mean, I feel like my choices are Sam & Max or Day of the Tentacle.
Right.
So, I mean, I would have to pick Sam & Max for sure because Day of the Tentacle, I wanted to, like, take it and, like, throw it in the ground and cover it with gasoline and light it on fire. And then take a nuke and, like, toss it into the ocean and then, like, explode it into, like, a million atoms. Because that game was hard.
Day of the Tentacle was unbelievably difficult.
It was, like, you had to do the most random things in the entire world. Like, take a hamster, then, like, put a sweater on, then put it in a freezer, then, like, time travel, and then, like, take it. Like, yeah, it was...
Well... Right.
Yeah.
The premise of it was about a tentacle that drank from some contaminated river, and he was trying to take over the world. So basically, the scientist in the game is trying to go back in time to stop him from ever doing that. But when he uses his time machine, he sends 3 of the kids that are helping him into 3 different parts of time. So the past, present, and future.
Yeah.
And this is a puzzle-solving game, so you have to solve a puzzle in the past to affect the future.
Yeah, so you, like, switch between the characters, basically.
Unbelievably confusing.
Yeah.
I remember one puzzle in particular was you had to get a hamster, and then you had to get a sweater. You had to shrink the sweater so it could fit the hamster in a washing machine. And then you had to put the sweater on the hamster, then you had to put it into a freezer to freeze the hamster so the person could pull it out in the future so it could run on a hamster wheel so it could move something.
Yeah. You know how, like, nowadays, if you're, like, stuck in a game, you just, like, go to Google, you, like, Alt-Tab and, like, type in, like, I'm stuck, how do I solve this puzzle? Back then, like, there was literally, like, there was, like, a hotline you had to call and, like, pay people money.
Yeah.
To figure out how to beat the puzzle.
There was literally a hotline in the book you had to call to get the freaking answer, and you had to pay per minute for this person to walk you through how to get to
I feel like they purposely, like, made the puzzles, like, so abstract and ridiculous just so they could, like, make money for people calling in for hints.
Right, like, that's how video games made money
that
back
was
in
their
the day.
business model instead of microtransactions.
Like, that's insane. Can you imagine being stuck on a game now and having to call and be like, I am stuck. Here's where I am stuck. What do I do?
Yeah, no, we're spoiled.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We never actually beat Day of the Tentacle.
We're going to. They remastered it.
And we actually started it again a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
We actually also recently beat Sam and Max again.
Well, when we were kids, we beat that many of times.
Right.
Like, many, many times. And that game is really awesome. It's a little less crazy hard than Day of the Tentacle, but it's still pretty hard.
Right.
For sure.
It's about 2 detectives, one of them being a dog and one of them being a bunny.
Yeah. It sounds really dumb, but it's pretty great. It has really good humor in it.
Really good humor. Basically, they're traveling across the United States to rescue a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Lots of these games you can download for free now. So, if you like puzzle adventures that have good, funny humor and are fun, honestly, like, we still play them now and laugh and have a good time.
Yeah, just go to, like, a GOG.com. I know for sure you can, like, download DOS games, and it, like, comes with a pre-downloaded emulator, so you can just play them on that, which is pretty cool.
I know you don't even have to download this one, but this is another really good one, was Lemmings.
Yeah. For your sadistic side. For that side of it that had, like, a magnifying glass like Bernie Nance, you would enjoy this game.
Yeah, so basically the game is you have a bunch of lemmings, which are these little, I think they were orange people. I don't remember. They have green hair. Did they have green hair?
They're little people that you mercilessly slaughtered like a vengeful god.
Basically, they're going through these mazes and you have to get them to the end, and yeah, you end up killing a lot of them.
Yeah, well, basically it's kind of like there are different obstacles. Like, either you have to, like, mine a tunnel, or you have to, like, build a bridge, or, like, tunnel out a slope, or explode things, etc., etc. And so, like, you can have these, like, different tasks you can assign to people. And, like, hey, you do this. And you assign lemmings to do things, and, like, some of them die in the process. But the goal is to save as many as possible to get to the exit.
Yeah, so if you're ever bored, Google Lemmings.
It's a really fun game.
Super
fun. Legitimately.
Yeah, so give it a try. I mean, those are kind of like the more point-and-click puzzly type things. I don't know. As far as, like, my childhood and what I remember was sitting on my dad's lap and playing these games. Because I was so little. Like, I didn't actually, I mean, I played them when I was older, but I didn't actually, like, play any of them. Like, I watched my dad play them.
I just know, like, when we were kids, we would, like, sit in Dad's lap and, like, play the most, like, gory, like, bloody, like, M-rated games.
Right, like, we played Doom, like, at the age
yeah,
of 3 or
it's
whatever.
like, hey, Taylor, come sit on my lap and, like, shoot these aliens in the face.
Yeah, and our mom would walk in the room and be like,
what are you doing? Why are you letting them play that game?
Yeah, that's a good impression. I remember she used to get really mad about the bears in Tomb Raider. Like,
she was mad because we were killing animals.
Yeah.
Like, murdering people is fine, but as soon as you kill a bear, that's crossing a line, apparently.
Yep. Yeah, that is the biggest memory I have from DOS games, was sitting on my dad's lap and playing those. It's so funny because, like, he played Leisure Suit Larry with me. Mm-hmm. And the humor in that game was not kid humor.
Well, Leisure Suit Larry is basically just a game where you, like, try to get laid. That's, like, literally the premise of the game. So he played that one.
Like what was our dad thinking? I don't know. But
I mean, I feel like when you're that young, you don't really care or,
right.
like, understand. I feel like parents are way more concerned than they need to be most of the times about things.
I agree. It all goes over your head.
It really does.
Yeah. Anything else you have about DOS? I mean, that's like the base of, like, everything right there.
Yeah, I mean, there was, like, Tomb Raider, which we really enjoyed in that, but I think it's a pretty good discussion about that.
Okay.
You know?
Cool. Yeah. We want to move into the next one here?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next system that we have is... We're doing a drum roll. Why are we doing a drum roll?
I don't know. Surprise.
Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah.
Which most people know as NES.
Yeah.
So basically, NES is an 8-bit home video game console that was developed and manufactured by, surprise, Nintendo.
Wow, I never would have guessed that.
It was initially released in Japan as the Family Computer on July 15th, 1983. Wow. And then it was later released in North America during 1985. So I didn't realize how old NES was. I'm like, this is older than me.
Yeah, that is older than both of us.
Some really popular games. Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, the first one. Mm-hmm. Duck Hunt.
Yes.
Excite Bike. I like that name. Kid Icarus. Final Fantasy.
Oh man, we never played Kid Icarus, but that one
did not. But big one. Ice Climbers, mm-hmm. And I put this on the list just for the sake of the story. But Battletoads.
Oh, I really want to play Battletoads because I know it has a reputation for being like the most unfair, brutally hard, difficult game in the world, and I want to like prove that I can beat it.
You know what? All that I know about Battletoads. A few years ago, it became a huge joke to call GameStops and ask if they had Battletoads in stock.
That's funny.
Everyone was like, do you have Battletoads?
This was like a meme online that
people
it
was like an online meme, and they're like, no, it came out in 1991.
I do want to play it, though, legitimately.
Yeah. So those are just some popular games that came out on that system. My fun fact about the NES was, in the original Legend of Zelda game, why could you only hold 255 rupees?
Because of programming limitations.
You got it. Yeah, because the maximum value of unsigned 8-bit integer to hold and move would have required more memory, which just wasn't doable for technology at that time.
Yeah. Those limitations still exist nowadays, actually. Like, I know in World of Warcraft, for example, like, there's, like, a limit to how much money you can hold, and it's because of, like, the programming limitations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, it's a much bigger number, but that is the gold cap, is because of that.
I mean, that's interesting. It's definitely interesting to see that they're still having those same kind of struggles nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny. I'm like, I never thought about that, but you did only have 255 rupees. So my big highlight from NES was we did not buy an NES. Once again, our dad.
I mean, it'd be kind of weird if it was we as like 8-year-old kids somehow had enough money to buy an NES.
Right. So our dad bought NES for himself, not for us.
Yeah, no, we just had it as long as I can remember.
But like, I feel like this was honestly a pretty important system to me, not because I played a lot of games from the NES, but this was the first system that I could sit on the couch and play video games with friends and family.
Honestly, this was before we got really into gaming ourselves. Like, we played a few games, but, like, we didn't really, like, get super into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote, what did I write here? I wrote that I didn't play much on this game, but the original Legend of Zelda is fucking hard.
I don't know how much you played, because you probably played more NES than me, but I barely played that game.
Yeah.
I probably, like, played it, got, like, 5 screens in, and, like, I give up.
Yeah.
I never got to a single dungeon.
Games back then were hard.
They were hard because, like, it was way less linear. You know how, like, games nowadays, like, you're literally on, like, a treadmill where you're gonna, you know, beat it. Back then, it was, like, super open-ended. You had to, like, find everything yourself and figure everything yourself.
Which I actually like.
Yeah, because, like, you would, like, get to a dungeon in, like, Legend of Zelda, and if you didn't have, like, the right thing, you just, like, couldn't do that dungeon.
I like that, though. Like, I like games not holding your hand.
Me too. I highly prefer, and, like, everything like that doesn't... Everything today, I'm sorry, is like that.
Which is kind of a bummer. Like, that was one of the things I thought about a lot as I was, like, researching these games. I was like, wow, like, I don't know. I feel like games nowadays are easier.
Well,
in some ways.
I feel like the reason for that, nowadays, especially AAA titles, they know what works, they know what people expect, and they want to make money, obviously. And they know that if they make a game a certain way, and they will make money off of it, you know?
Yeah.
So would they rather release a game that is, like, kind of on rails or has, like, cool cutscenes and events and, like, you know, it can make kind of an entertaining experience, or you could, like, take a risk and do something crazy where it's, like, more, like, not linear, but you might not make your, you know, return on it. So people just don't take risks as much anymore as they used to, which is kind of sad. Which is why indie games are, like, so popular, because they do take those risks.
Yeah, it's just kind of a bummer. But I do appreciate the indie developers who do, you know, kind of make more unique stuff. And I know, like, personally, we've played a lot of indie games. Yeah. I think we'll probably eventually do an episode about of indie games that we've played because they're just really interesting. And honestly, some of the best gaming experiences I've had in the last few years have come from indie games and not AAA games. Yeah,
and it's great nowadays because things like Steam, like, there are so many, the market is flooded with indie games nowadays, you know, which is nice. Which is nice.
Like, don't get me wrong. I love my AAA games. But they are super, like, they hold your hand.
They're predictable. Part.
Yeah.
They're good, but they're predictable.
They have to be. They just have to be.
If they, like I said, if they want to make money. The majority of the gamer player base nowadays is, they're not the kind of gamers that were playing games back in the day.
Yeah.
Now it's much more of a mass market appeal type thing.
Right.
Which I was never really part of their crowd, but, you know, it's just they have to appeal to that.
Well, we went off on a little tangent.
We did, but it was a good tangent.
It was a good tangent. So back to NES. I mean, like I said, I didn't have too much to say about this. I remember the Olympic game. We had the mats.
I just remember having to, like, tap, like, left and right, like, really fast, like, back, because he would run. There was, like, there was a sprinting game, right?
Yep, there was a sprinting game.
And didn't you have to, like, do, like, hurdles? You would, like, run and, like, jump and run and jump.
Which, honestly, when you think about it, was, like, pretty advanced for that day.
No, like, or the Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt, yeah.
Like, what do you think about it? Like, being so far back, the fact that there was a game where you had the gun where you could, like, literally point at the screen and it could actually, like, aim. Like, that was way ahead of its time.
It was.
Because, like, the next thing that did that was, like, Wii, which is, like, you know, 3 systems in the future.
Right.
Like, it's pretty crazy.
It is actually really cool.
I don't even know how that technology worked. Was there a sensor you put in the TV?
No, there wasn't a sensor.
How did you
I have no idea.
I'm impressed. I'll just say that. Yeah. It worked, but that game was fun.
Now that you think about it, yeah, that's kind of impressive.
Because for Wii, you put a sensor and you point the Wiimote.
Nintendo they're wizards.
It's black magic, people.
Yeah. I'm gonna research that now. I'm gonna add to my list.
I'm guessing it's like a motion sensor type thing, but, like, how would you know when it's pointing towards the TV? I don't know.
No idea.
That's impressive.
It is. Thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I had was I wrote the age of starting to blow in cartridges.
Oh my god, yeah. And the funny thing is it worked. N64 continued that trend, for sure.
Okay, the next thing I wrote was, does this actually work, or does it just make you feel better?
It worked. This is very subjective personal experience, but there were many times when a game would not work, you'd blow in it and then it would work.
Oh my god, blowing in cartridges, like, that's just so funny. It's kind of sad that, like, kids nowadays aren't gonna, like,
it's understand a fun experience.
That. Like, oh my gosh, anything else you have about NES?
I like I said, I didn't play it that much, but it started a very long trend of amazing Nintendo games and series, and it was the beginning of a lot of stuff.
It definitely was. It was a great start for Nintendo. Okay, so the next thing I have is Game Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Game Boy. The Game Boy is an 8-bit handheld video game device developed and manufactured by, surprise, again, what do you think?
Sony.
No.
Sega.
No.
Microsoft.
Yes. No.
It's Nintendo.
It was released in Japan on April 21st. Wow. April 21st, 1986. And in North America on July 31st, 1989.
Man, 3 years.
Yep. In 1996, it was re-released in the form of Game Boy Pocket. And as we all know, has been coming out with new versions since.
Mm-hmm.
So I only wrote 2 games for the original Game Boy because only 2 games matter to me. And that was Pokemon Red and Blue and the Donkey Kong. What was it? Donkey Kong.
You wrote it down.
I don't remember. I wrote Donkey Kong Country, but I know
it's Donkey Kong Land 2.
Donkey Kong Land 2. Not 1, but 2.
Yeah, I never played the first one.
My fun fact for Game Boy was the developers of Kirby Dream Land 2 hit a crude drawing of a naked woman in the level Red Canyon.
Seriously?
Yes.
That's funny.
I actually looked up a picture and it is legitimately a naked woman.
That's pretty awesome.
So yeah, how do you feel about Game Boy?
So I remember like my earliest experience with Game Boy was my uncle got me a Game Boy Pocket, like the black and white one, and I have like a memory of we were going to camp, driving to go to camp at like Mackinac, and I was like played Donkey Kong Land 2 like the entire way there and like back, and I enjoyed it. It was really fun. And besides that, Pokemon.
Right. I wrote right here, I realized that my Game Boy was a quote-unquote Pokemon machine because until I got into high school, I played nothing else on my Game Boy other than Pokemon.
I mean, yeah, really, it was 100% Pokemon. Like, I'm trying to, like, remember other games I played, and we literally just played Pokemon.
It was only
all
Pokemon.
The time.
There are other games for Game Boy, but in my childhood, Pokemon.
It was fun, though. Like, we would, like, duel our friends, and, like, back then you had to, like, buy those, like, cables. You would, like, physically...
Oh, my God, the cables!
You would physically connect your, like, Game Boys to your friends. You could, like, Pokemon duel them.
Holy shit, yeah!
Remember, like, we would, like, go outside by the trampoline and just, like, have, like, Pokemon battles.
Oh, my God, I forgot about those. You know what else I had for my Game Boy that I just remembered? Was the light that you plugged in.
Yeah, it like, bended, and you could, like, plug it in, like, because back then, I don't know if Game Boy Color. I know Game Boy Advance had, like, lip screen, but the first ones did not.
They have a black backlit screen, no.
They did not. So if, like, it was dark or had bad lighting, you just couldn't see.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh. Wow. I just had, like, nostalgia. I'm like, oh, my God.
Which is crazy to think about, like, nowadays.
Holy
but we had to go
shit.
through a lot as kids.
You had a light that plugged into your Game Boy.
I know.
So you could see the screen, so you could be up at 1 a.m. playing Pokemon Red version.
No, I have, like, memories, like, being under the covers with that light, just, like, leveling up like Charizard. Like.
Oh, my gosh. I wrote... My favorite Game Boy memory is because I used to have to sit on the playground and hide and play Pokemon because they banned Game Boys at my school.
Because everyone was just, like, playing way too much.
Yes. They also banned Pokemon cards because trading them was like a black market transaction.
Dude, there was a lot of black market stuff as kids. There was, like, that. There was, like, Crazy Bones. And
Oh, my God, Crazy Bones!
Like, it was like you have drugs. Like, hey, I have, like, this Crazy Bone. You want to trade for, like,
No, I'm telling you, dude. There used to be, like, a corner of my playground. It was, like, the dark corner where you would go there and you would, like, pull your Pokemon cards, like, out
you
of
would, like,
your
wear
pocket.
a jacket, like, like Crazy
and be
Bones
like,
out.
I'll trade you 10 Dittos for your holographic Charizard, which is
Yeah.
actually a trade that I made once, and the person that traded it to me was an idiot.
That is worth it. For sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I remember is having to hide and play my Game Boy at school.
Yeah, our Game Boy experience is literally just Pokemon.
Right.
All the time.
Literally Pokemon. I played a lot of other Game Boy games later in life.
Like for like DS and like stuff like that, I played a little more. But as far as like early Game Boy goes, not really.
Right. You know the one thing that I wrote that is not in this time zone that we're talking about, but I still want to bring it up because it infuriates me. Do you remember Legend of Zelda 4 Swords?
Yes.
Do you remember how you had to buy 2 copies of the game to actually play 4 swords. So to play it with all 4 swords, you had to have 4 copies of the game.
That makes sense.
That used to make me so angry when I was younger.
How else would you do it?
I don't care. It made me really angry.
Because you need to play with 4 people.
I was angry because you and I used to play it, and we had to buy a second copy of the game.
How else would you? Because you have 4 separate like Game Boys, right?
Yeah.
How do you expect to play together if you don't all have the game?
Don't make fun of me. It made me angry. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay, I mean, I could understand if it was like nowadays where you could like have multiplayer and like share like it through like downloads or something. But
what's your favorite handheld game overall? Like not just Game Boy, but like Game Boy, all Game Boys.
Either I really enjoyed like the Phantom Hourglass for like Nintendo DS, because that was kind of like Wind Waker 2.0. That was really fun.
Yeah. Or
this is kind of like a cop-out, just not really like originally a handheld game, but Mario 64, like the remake for DS.
Yeah.
That was also really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk more about Mario 64 later.
We will.
My favorite, The World Ends With You.
I never played it.
It's a great game.
I downloaded it like for my phone as an app, and I started to play it, but...
Dude, play it. It's such a good game.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Is it like...
Yeah, I mean, it's a Square Enix game. Mm-hmm. Square Enix usually does really good.
It's like good story and stuff, right?
Great story, fun play style. Like you basically attack with having like pins, and each pin has like a different power, and it's fun to play on it was on a DS. Yeah. So, like, you use the cursor and, like...
the touchscreen at the bottom.
Different touchscreen patterns were, like, different attacks, which was, like, cool, because you kind of had to, like, remember.
Yeah.
But it takes place in Shibuya, and it's kind of neat. It's very, like, stylistic, super cool. Fun game. I love it. So, let's get back on topic. Anything else you have to say about handheld stuff? Older handheld stuff?
As far as, like, 90s handheld gaming, I think that's pretty much it.
Pokemon.
Just dueling our friends all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
The next system that we have here is... You want to guess? You're gonna drum roll again? Why are we drum rolling?
Why?
I think you should guess.
I know what it is. Let's see. Is it N64?
No.
Oh shit! I don't know what it is. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, PS1.
PS1. PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
So, PlayStation 1 is a home video game console. No shit. Thanks
Really?
to Wikipedia. Developed and marketed by...
Nintendo.
No.
Sony.
Nintendo has done everything.
Yeah.
Sony Computer Entertainment. This console was released on December 3rd of 1994 in Japan, which actually is pretty early. I didn't realize that had come out that early.
Wait, what date was that again?
1994.
Wow, that is pretty early.
And 1995 in North America. The console was the first PlayStation lineup of home video game consoles. It primarily competed with N64 and Sega Saturn as part of the 5th generation of video game consoles. So, some really big games on PlayStation. Final Fantasy VII, everyone's favorite game.
I have not played it.
Shame.
Did they remake it yet?
No, but they are. So play that version.
I will.
Metal Gear Solid, Crash Bandicoot, Resident Evil, Chrono Cross, Mega Man Legends, and my personal favorite, Silent Hill. The Sony PlayStation was originally intended as a CD add-on to the Super Nintendo. When licensing problems and other issues arose, Sony decided to develop the PlayStation as a machine of its own.
So you're saying that like Nintendo hired Sony to make that?
Can you imagine if this had actually been made as a Nintendo?
There might not be like PlayStations.
I know. Like, it's really good that actually didn't work out.
There might not have been a Kingdom Hearts.
Oh my god. Well, there would have been a Kingdom Hearts, but it would have been for Nintendo.
Yeah. Which, it's all right.
Are you sure?
Honestly, I feel like what do you think is the most expendable console?
Xbox.
Yeah. No, you're probably right.
I hate
I was
Xbox.
gonna say maybe PlayStation, but you're probably right.
I'm
Xbox.
so sorry to anyone that likes Xbox.
Well, because Xbox has like Halo, and that's about it.
Nothing.
Halo.
I hate Xbox.
That's Halo.
Don't hate me for hating Xbox. I don't hate Xbox. I just never have had one.
Neither one of us really played Xbox at all.
Right. Like, no offense to Xbox, but it's just not my system.
You're lame. And if you like it, you suck and you're wrong. Yeah.
When we talk about like future gaming, Taylor's just gonna like diss on me for playing consoles still.
PC Master
Yeah,
Race.
because I still love the fuck out of consoles.
But why?
Because okay,
There's literally no benefit.
I'm still all about like
the only benefit is in like, oh, this is like only released on consoles, so buy a console.
I get it, but you have to understand that most of
don't.
my gaming is done with other people still.
You can still do that on the PC.
Dude,
You can literally just plug a PC
you know
into a
what?
TV.
I love consoles. I always will.
Why?
Don't stop. Get back on topic.
No,
Get back on topic.
Give me an actual reason.
I love consoles. I love being able to sit down
You can do that on a PC.
on a couch and play a video game with
You can do that
someone.
in a PC.
I don't know. I love consoles. I wanted to buy a PS4 for so long, and I finally got one. I'm so happy.
You can do that in a PC.
Shut up.
Okay, let's get
You want to know the reason why I bought a PS4?
for Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
I mean, see, that's the only reason. If there's like a exclusive
Console
title,
exclusive.
but that's like that's how they get you though.
You know what? I would pay the price of a PS4 to play Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's exactly how they get you. See, what you do is you wait like 5 years, then you just emulate it.
Right. I don't regret buying my PS4 though. I play the shit out of it all the time. So
Yeah.
let's get back on topic of PlayStation 1. Okay. So anyway, my main memory about PlayStation 1 was we never owned one. But
Grandpa,
our grandpa owned one. Why did he
bought it.
buy it?
I'm sure he bought it for us. He played like cards on his computer, and that was about his gaming experience.
I just remember like one day we went over there and there was a PlayStation and I was like, why is this here?
Our grandpa was literally like the coolest person on the planet.
Yeah, he really was.
He was awesome.
He was.
Yeah.
So he bought us a PlayStation. I like PlayStation.
It had some really, really good like titles for it.
Yeah.
Especially for PS1.
The one thing I wrote about PlayStation was this was when you first started using, for at least for us, memory cards.
Yes.
And I'm like, I wrote, fuck memory cards. I'm so glad we don't have to use these anymore.
Yeah. I like erased those from my memory. I forgot they existed until you brought them up.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like
even like the files like get corrupted sometimes.
Oh
you like
my
lose all your data.
God, it was so bad.
Yeah.
And like it kind of sucks because like I've had a few times where I've gone back and put in old games, mostly for like the PlayStation 2, and I'm like, crap, I can't even open my freaking file because I don't have the memory card.
Yeah, and they're like so small and easy to lose. Like,
Yeah.
It
So you know what? Fuck memory cards.
with just a giant spike dildo. Yeah.
Thank you that we do not have to use them anymore. What was your favorite PlayStation game?
Crash Bandicoot.
Heck yeah.
First, I mean, it's actually hard, which is a good sign. Spyro was also really good, and the Gex into the Gecko. But
yeah.
I have the best memories of Crash Bandicoot. That was a really, really fun platformer. I highly recommend anyone to play it.
Even nowadays, yeah.
It like remember like the segments where you like be like running like down a cliff, like avoiding boulders, and like they're like I don't know. It's just a really clever. Like they have a lot of different mechanics in it. And it's just a really fun game.
I loved Crash Bandicoot, Gex Enter the Gecko, which I don't know if a lot of people know, but
Yeah, I feel it's one of those series that never really kept on going.
yeah.
Because Crash did a little bit, Spyro did a little bit. They both kind of continued, but
Dude,
I think
Spiral is Spiral. I can't talk today.
it's okay.
Spyro is still going on.
Yeah,
They have the-
They
what is
probably
it called?
they probably like made it horrible, but
Yeah, I haven't looked at any of the new Spyro stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, like Taylor and I, as we were preparing for this podcast, we kind of realized that all of them are like similar. Like the what did you call it? The characters. The type of characters.
Anthropomorphic.
Yeah, anthropomorphic
Yes.
characters. Was really popular.
Apparently.
Yeah.
For PlayStation
For
1.
PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, good, fun games. But I kind of appreciated PlayStation because I always thought of it as a bit of, like, an older system than Nintendo games.
As an older system?
Not older, but, like, I feel like the themes were older.
Oh, like more mature. Well, yeah, PlayStation is definitely more mature than Nintendo. Nintendo is obviously marketed towards kids.
Right. And then the one other game we played the shit out of, but it was absolutely terrible, Digimon World.
I have like Vietnam like PTSD war flashbacks from that game. Like it was horrible, but we liked Digimon. So I feel like I felt compelled to like try to like it and play it.
It was so bad.
Like I remember like there was like an overworld.
Yeah.
And like you had this like weird like mech thing or something you would like drive or you'd like had to get parts for it and like go around this map and like have like run like Digimon battle. It was just the worst combat. It was bad.
All I remember from that game was a giant black map and it had like a grid on it.
Yeah.
And you had to like go around and I don't remember what you did, but there were Digimon. And that's all I remember.
You would go around in like a weird mech thing and like fight Digimon and it was bad.
It was like the worst game ever, but we played it.
I liked it because you got to like see Digimon fight.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it.
Digimon was awesome back in the day.
Yeah.
I actually, PlayStation, I never played these games when I was younger, but I played them later on in life.
Yeah.
And that was like Final Fantasy 7, like 8. And then I also played Silent Hill.
That started a very long chain of addiction and obsession.
I played Silent Hill when I was like late high school.
Yeah.
So I played it a long time after it had come out. And like I honestly kind of miss the horror platform on old systems because it really like is super scary. The reason why is because the graphics are terrible.
Yeah.
So it like you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Uh-huh.
And it's awesome.
Like the more realistic you get, like almost the less realistic it gets because like you realize that it's not like perfect or whatever.
Yeah.
But back then it was just like random like blotches of like scary shit.
Yeah. So like I really appreciate like I don't know, I like PlayStation. I think it was a good system.
Yeah.
In my younger days I was always a Nintendo fangirl. But
I liked both.
Both are good.
PlayStation was just the game where we would go over to our grandparents and play the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else to add to PS1?
Nope.
So now we have our final system of this part 1 of growing up gaming. And that is... Are you going to not drum roll for this one? This is honestly the best one.
Nope.
Really?
You told me to not drum roll for things, so I'm not gonna drum roll for things
Damn
anymore.
it, Taylor.
But-
N64.
Yeah.
Woo!
And God, N64 is like crack cocaine of like consoles. It's so good.
I wrote here, this is the first system that I binge gamed. Like, binged the fuck out of N64.
Yeah.
So, the N64 is Nintendo's third home video game console for the international market. Named for the 64-bit Central Processing Unit, it was released in June of 1996 in Japan and September of 1996 in North America. Some popular games of N64, and honestly, this is just a few because there are a lot for N64. Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, as well as Majora's Mask, GoldenEye 007, Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Pokemon Snap. So my fun fact, and this is a little bit gruesome, I didn't fact check this, but...
I mean, you found it online, right?
Right.
So it's true then.
It's definitely true.
Yeah.
So it was in Star Fox, Fox McCloud does not wear silver boots. All spacecraft pilots in the Star Fox universe amputee their legs.
That's true.
So blood doesn't drain from their brain when they undergo G-forces.
That's true. I know that's true.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, are you being legitimate?
No, they actually have amputated leg limbs. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, that's true. Like,
what the heck?
100%. That's like not even like that's just a fact.
Star Fox has metal legs?
Yeah.
I feel like I've been lied to my whole life.
What do you mean you've been lied to? No one told you that they have real limbs.
I looked up this fact and I'm like, what the
What?
fuck?
That's horrible.
This is terrible. Okay, well.
Yeah. See, internet, you never find a lie online. If you ever do something online, it's true.
Oh my god, that's crazy. So basically, N64 was the shit.
It was fucking awesome.
I can't even begin to talk about the N64.
Like, just you say N64 and like your brain just has like nostalgia overload.
I just wrote, dang, these games were fun.
That's it. That's all we have to say.
I wrote, it was awesome growing up with these games. I feel bad for anyone that is growing up now without these games.
I feel bad for anyone that just wasn't a 90s kid.
Yeah.
Just in general, because we had the best stuff.
Like, Super Mario 64.
Fantastic. Like,
So
the words
good.
can't even describe how perfect of a game that was.
Right.
Like, if a platformer came out nowadays that was that game, it would be amazing still.
I know. DK 64.
Also amazing. Lesser known, but still, like, equally as just fantastic.
And, like, Ocarina of Time. Like,
Yeah.
N64 was such a good system.
I mean, yeah, like, it has so many classic games for a reason, because so many games on it were just so amazing.
Like, just talking about this, like, I'm looking at this list of games, and I can't even
It's
begin.
almost crazy how many amazing games were for N64.
Yeah. Like, I also am a huge GameCube fan, but I feel like N64 and GameCube, those are the two platforms that just really made my childhood gaming.
If there was a golden age of especially Nintendo, like definitely N64, GameCube, 110%. Like before and after that was okay, but like those two systems were just like the bulk of like everything that amazing Nintendo wise happened.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I just think about this, and I mean, that was just like a good time in our lives. Like, we were young, playing the shit out of the system, and having a good time. And like, I don't know, it's just, I really miss like sitting on the couch with kids.
Yeah.
And our friends, and just like playing Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like people nowadays and like kids nowadays, like it's nice like having computers and like Skyping with your friends and, you know, like playing a game of League or whatever, but there's something to be said about just like having, you know, sitting in a couch and just like playing through an RPG together or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Because people just don't really do that as much anymore.
No. I miss it.
Yeah.
I miss it. Like, I would honestly replay any of these games on the list, and I feel like I would go back and I'd be like, oh my god, like, I remember this looking so much better back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Like, I just think those games have so much heart.
It's kind of timeless, especially with like the cartoony looks and stuff like that. Games like that never really age, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like some like PlayStation stuff, or like where they try to like be more realistic, stuff like that ages a lot. But Nintendo, I'd say, is pretty timeless.
Yeah.
Like all of that stuff.
Nintendo really was the shit back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, I can't really...
Like, yeah, nowadays it's kind of like fallen into more of like the niche category where it has like its hardcore following. But back in the day, Nintendo like was gaming. Maybe we're being biased, but I feel like it was huge.
No, it was, because, like, they had their characters. And back in the day when graphics were not so great...
Yeah, it was important to have like really well-known and relatable characters and, you know, series.
But like those, even though the graphics weren't great on an N64, the characters fit. Like, it just made sense. Like,
Graphics are overrated.
They are.
Like, really? N64 graphics are all you need for a good game.
Yeah. Yeah. What was your favorite N64 game? Do you have a favorite?
Let's say I have a list. It's not Ocarina of Time. I enjoyed it, but the Water Temple just single-handedly ruined it. If anyone has played the game, you know what I'm talking about. But just in general, it wasn't my favorite. It was a good game. Pokemon Snap was good. Pokemon Snap was really good. Like, surprisingly good.
Yeah.
For a game about taking pictures of Pokemon. You would, like, just go through a track. And you would look around and, like, throw, like, rocks and, like, or stuff and, like, try to get good pictures of Pokemon in the wilderness. But it was really fun.
Yeah.
But not my favorite. Super Smash Brothers, great multiplayer. Not my favorite. Melee, I liked way more.
Yeah, I
For the
agree.
GameCube.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I think Melee was the perfect Super Smash Bros. Game.
I agree.
My opinion.
I agree.
Mischief Makers was good. Really good. You know, I'm gonna...
Mischief Makers was
right,
obscure but good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's between Mischief Makers and Mario 64. DK64 I liked a lot too. Or DK64. It's so hard. This is really hard. DK64 was also amazing. Mario 64 was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're both, like, A+ games where they're so good. And for what it was, Mischief Makers was also an amazing game. In a different way, because it was a different genre, but any of those three, A+, 100% for me. Like,
right.
I can't pick I'm sorry, I can't pick a favorite.
It's okay. I think you almost have to give it to DK64 for the theme song.
the DK Donkey Kong. It's the leader of the bunch. Yeah.
You know him well.
You know him well.
He's finally back.
To kick some tail.
Yeah.
Tail?
Question mark?
Tail.
His coconut gun? No.
It's gonna, or no. Something gonna hurt.
If he shoots ya.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
He's bigger and faster and stronger too. He's the first member
of the DK crew. DK Donkey Kong. I'm gonna go, as soon as we're into this, I'm gonna go to YouTube and listen to that.
Yeah, that was our jam back in the day. I used to know all the lyrics. I don't really know
Play
anymore.
DK64. It is amazing.
I don't know. Do you remember Diddy Kong Racing?
Oh, how did I forgot about that, but that is also in my at least top 5. My favorite racing game for sure. Like, Diddy Kong Racing just takes the shit all over Mario Kart.
Right. It does.
It does. It's way better than Mario Kart.
Why did they not make
more Diddy Kong Racing?
More Diddy Kong Racing games?
Like, not only was it a better racing game, because, like, all right, number one, there was, like, karts, and there's fucking, like, hovercrafts.
Planes.
And then fucking planes, yeah.
I know!
And, like, and depending on the course, you can literally choose what kind of vehicle you wanted and, like, race other people, because, like, the courses would, like, allow you to do different, like, ways to traverse it. And it was awesome. And adventure mode was legitimately amazing.
I know!
Like, I don't know how they did it, but, like, the single player in that game...
It's really good.
Was good. It was really, really good. It was like almost like Mario 64 level of like single player like adventure mode good.
I know. Why didn't they not make more Diddy Kong Racing games?
I don't know.
Like, seriously.
I also want to play that again.
I know, seriously. Oh my god. Like every game we were just talking about, I am like, I need to replay this game.
So good. It's not even fair how good some of these games were.
I know. God, best out of like all these systems that we're going through, like all of them are great. And 64, it's just the most I can associate with my childhood.
Yeah, like if I had to pick one system to like say that was my favorite, I almost certainly pick N64. GameCube is a close second, but N64 is just too good.
Yeah, N64 and GameCube. Like if I had to pick the systems that really like made me a gamer.
Yeah.
N64 and GameCube.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Anything else you can think about N64? Or just gaming in general. Growing up gaming, like anything else you'd like to say?
I mean, yeah, I think we're going to continue talking about like a more recent stuff next week.
Yep.
But yeah, I think we covered most of the topics related to systems we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I agree. I think we did a good job of covering at least the stuff from the 90s, you know? Yeah, next week we're definitely going to cover 90 onward. So
yeah, to like recent day, like just any.
So this will be like PlayStation 2, GameCube, Wii.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
In case you haven't guessed, I'm not the biggest fan of Wii.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
I feel like I've played more consoles recently than Taylor. Like, I'm a big PS3, PS4 fan.
Have you played more than 0?
But Taylor will probably be the defendant for PC gaming.
Yeah, I will be like the, I'll be the fanatic defending PC gaming.
For PC gaming. Because I'm still console, he's still PC, so maybe we'll have a little debate about that.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I'm right.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, though, like, I'm just, it's been really nice to kind of talk through these older systems because gaming is a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
I consider myself a nerd in lots of ways. But I feel like gaming and sitting down and playing DOS games and sitting on my dad's lap and playing DOS games, like, that is literally what started me.
Well, like, gaming back in the day, it was kind of different.
Right.
Because, like, nowadays, if you're a gamer, like, that can mean you play Angry Birds on your phone.
Right.
That can mean you play shooters. That can mean you play, you know, like, stupid, like, I don't know, like...
Which is fine.
Yeah, it's okay. But there are different kinds of gamers. And back then, if you were a gamer, it meant, like, you were, like, a gamer.
Right.
Like, a gamer. Like,
and It was just so much different.
It was.
And it was, like, nowadays, almost everything, but games in particular, are easy to obtain. Like, back then, it was hard.
If you wanted a game, it was an ordeal. You had to pay, like, 30 or, like, $50 to, like, buy something. And now, you can have a Steam sale and get, like, 10 games for, like, $5.
Yeah.
Like, my Steam library has, like, 150 games, and I've played, like, half of them.
Keep in mind, when we were playing these DOS games in, like, NES, there was no internet.
No.
Like...
Which is crazy to think about.
That was our entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, that was what we did when we were kids.
There was no PewDiePie back then.
There was no PewDiePie. There was
Markiplier.
no people playing these games for us.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't get me wrong, I watch a lot of Let's Plays. I love watching Let's Plays, but I feel like nowadays a lot of, like, gaming is lost.
I think in general, the lesson to be learned is, like, limitations and everything kind of inspire creativity and inspire just, like, good things.
Yeah.
Because, like, back then, there was no, like, online multiplayer. There was no, like, YouTube. There was no internet. There was no cheat codes. There was no, like, any of this stuff. There was literally just, like, you had, like, a TV, a console, and you sit on the couch, and you could play by yourself or with friends, like, split screen.
Yeah.
And while you couldn't do as many things as you could nowadays, or you can't have as many games, it added more to the experience because it was more special.
It really did.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just, that's why it's so near and dear to my heart, is because I just feel like it was honestly, like, really intimate.
Yeah, like, that phase of our lives is something we'll never, like, live again, you know?
Yeah. And it's just, like, I mean, granted, kids nowadays, like, have their own things that I won't be able to relate to.
I'm sure, because we're not kids. We don't know what it's like to be a kid.
Yeah. But it's just, like, man, like, that was so good. Like, that was such a good time. And I feel sad for people that will never experience that. But I'm sure they'll experience their own.
Yeah, so if you're a kid right now, we would love to hear what kind of grown-up experiences you have.
Especially.
Or what your passions are, gaming or whatever.
Yeah, like, let us know, like, if anyone is listening to this and they are, you know, younger than us, like, oh my gosh, I would love to hear what it's like to be a gamer nowadays.
Yeah.
Like,
or if you grew up in the 90s or 80s, like, what kind of things did you play?
Yeah.
What did you enjoy?
What games did you play? So, I mean, that kind of leads us to, you know, our wrap-up here of where to contact us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I love talking about gaming. Send us, you know, your experiences with gaming, where you've come from. If you send us something before we speak next week, we'll bring it up and you know, kind of weave it into the conversation. So basically, we have a few places you can reach us. Right now, we have this podcast on YouTube and SoundCloud. And on there, we are Sibling Rivalry or Sibling Rivalry Podcast. Eventually, I'll learn which one we are.
It's okay. We haven't actually uploaded anything yet, but if you're listening to this, obviously,
we should have uploaded something by now.
Unless you've, like, snuck into our apartment and, like, listened to the raw file. But.
Yep. And then soon, we're going to be getting this podcast on Stitcher and iTunes.
Yes.
That is our next step. Also, please follow our Facebook page, and that is Sibling Rivalry Podcast.
Yeah, and like and subscribe to everything.
Yes, because I hope that, you know, we're only 2 episodes in, but I really hope that this has been fun to listen to. You know, as always, if you do have any ideas for topics, even if Taylor and I don't know anything about it, feel free to let us know, because we'll talk about anything. It's not like we have any plans.
Yeah.
I mean, we do. We definitely have things that we want to talk about, but
we are willing.
We are willing. I did 4 pages of research for what we talked about today. So, I mean, just anything. Hit us up, comments, questions.
I want to talk about, like, stuff we haven't really had much experience with.
I think it would be interesting.
It forces us to actually, like, learn new things.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So definitely let us know. Once again, we are really looking to make this podcast an interactive podcast. So if you do want to be a guest on the show, you know, let us know as well. I'm really excited for the first person we actually get to have as a guest on here.
Our first guest episode, yeah.
Our first guest episode.
We'll just drag your roommate to do an episode.
If we don't get a guest, we're going to get someone in our proximity to be a guest and force them on the show. So
Yep.
So someone else should volunteer first.
So we don't have to like forcibly make someone just lean against their will.
Right. But this has been lots of fun. I don't know how Taylor feels, but I've had lots of fun with this
I am
so
having
far.
a great amount of fun.
Yeah, I've like this episode in particular was like super nostalgic for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun. Like last week was fun because we got to know each other.
It went by fast too.
Yeah.
Like, we've been talking for an hour, and it feels like 20 minutes just talking about, like, gaming and stuff. Because it's really easy to talk about this stuff.
Yeah. So it's good. At least we know we can, like, keep a conversation going.
Yeah.
Which is important. So, anything else you had to add?
Just that you all have beautiful faces, and you are all amazing. And thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like, I can't describe enough anyone that is actually listening to this, how thankful I am.
Yes.
Because it's been lots of fun for us, and I hope it's
fun for you.
Fun for you. That's so cheesy. You're not supposed to say that.
I did. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, I guess we are signing off.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Get it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it. All right.
Dude, what the fuck?
I'm just testing the jeez, I don't know.
Oh, you're testing the audio? That wasn't just spontaneous.
Touch it. What do you mean it's not bad?
You just spit.
What the fuck do you mean it's not bad? That's a burn.
So Game Boy is an 8-bit handheld video game device developed and manufactured. Oh, that was
animated textured.
Manufactured. When licensing problems and other issues arose, Sony decided to develop the. I'm gonna read that again.
The.
What is that from?
What? I really don't know what you're talking about.
It's from like a show. I just wrote game.
Have fun editing this.